Alright. Greetings, NSCC judges. It is I, Phoebe Frazzlebean, presenting a bout of absurd history. Death. A cruel mistress. One of the only things certain in this world, along with taxes and laundry. I'm sure everyone strives for a dignified death. Some want to die peacefully in their sleep. Some want to go out guns blazing. But unfortunately, not all of us get to choose how we end things. And we end up on the failed compilation of eternity. In layman's terms, there are some dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Case in point, Draco, Greek lawmaker, and the walking definition of handsome gentleman. When old Draco wasn't bullying wizard boys with lightning-shaped scars on their forehead, he was doling out death penalties like they were candy. Stealing food, forgery, standing around doing nothing. It didn't matter how small the crime, you were doing the time. Well, I mean, you weren't doing the time exactly. I mean, like, you'd be dead, which I guess is like doing infinite time. Anyways, dude was a real harsh guy. In fact, he's where we get the term draconian, a word that literally means excessively cruel and severe. And like all terrible people in positions of government, he was real popular. Folks would gather around in big auditoriums to hear him speak the good word of penalization. They were so raptured by his vibe-heart nature that they would throw down their hats and cloaks, which is sort of like the precursor to throwing your underwear on stage at a Beatles concert. Like, am I wrong? Am I wrong? And they would throw their hats and coats, and more hats and coats, and more coats, and more hats, and more until eventually he suffocated underneath all the hats and coats. Yeah, really. I mean, like, if that happened to me, like, I'd be mad about it, but I'd also be quite flattered. Say, here's another neat anecdote from the Tudor period. Back then, there was an entertainer known as the stab-proof man. His whole deal was that he'd go up on stage and he'd take out a big knife and he'd jab it into his heart. But the twist was, he would live. Sure, that doesn't sound very entertaining compared to what we have today, but I pay good money to see a man be penetrated live. Who said that? Who said what? Who said? I didn't say that. Who? The stab-proof man. Quite the broad claim, isn't it? How could a mere mortal survive having a knife thrusted into their chest? Was he magic? No, he was a liar. Unbeknownst to the audience, but announced to us, he wore a stab-proof vest underneath his tunic, and a little pouch that he had filled with animal blood or like Kool-Aid or something, I don't know. And when he stabbed himself, the knife wouldn't pierce his skin, but it would pierce the bag, and all the gross, nasty bread stuff would goosh out and be so cool and gnarly and yeah. I'm good at writing scripts. And he did well for himself, you know. He was doing shows in fancy theaters. He was taking autographs. He even appeared on David Letterman. Until one day, every good story has a twist like that, you know. Until one day, he stepped onto stage. He looked over at the massive, roaring crowd. He took out his dagger. The audience shivered with anticipation. He raised his implement and, yeah, we all see the punchline coming. He forgot the vest and, well, he stabbed himself and he died. Like, it's the one thing you do, and you forget the most important part. I mean, really. I like to imagine that he realized just before he did it, he was like, oh no, wait. Oh, I should have been a dancer. Something like that. So what did we learn? Well, I learned that although people may stop living, stupidity never dies. Till death do we part. Good night, everybody.